Chapter 3 Glimpses of the Past. The lesson gives us a short and precise description of events that took place in our country from 1757 to 1857. It enlists incidents that led to widespread revolts, known as the First War of Independence. It provides a glimpse of how the British East India Company expanded its power in India and exploited Indians, how they robbed landlords and farmers of their land, created situations that led to famines, and pushed patriots to launch widespread massacres. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. Difficult words: sprang, took off. Inevitable, that cannot be avoided. Scaled, measured. Haphazard, without plan or order. Explanation: when the plane took off from the ground, set to touch the sky, the poet could view the city in a miniature. An area spread over a mile was reduced to 6 inches on the scale when viewed from above. Seeing the city in its wholesome perspective, the poet is able to understand why the city is designed in the way it is. What appeared haphazard and unplanned on the ground gained clarity and order when viewed from that height.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें।
2. The Company's Conquests 1757 to 1849. With its superior weapons, the British East India Company was extending its power in 18th century India. Superior means higher in quality. Conquests means conquering. Indian princes were short-sighted. Short-sighted means not hiking even fully. That upstart Raja, bah! Call the English merchants. They will help me to defeat him. The people had no peace due to such constant fights. The rivalries helped the East India Company, and it could easily subdue Indian princes one by one. Subdue means control. A far-seeing ruler like the brave Tipu of Mysore fought the British till he died fighting. How did Indians react to these conquests? Thank God there is peace in the country now. No more wars and no looting by thugs. It is God who sent the British. Our destiny is linked with them. The white man has killed or dethroned our kings. Dethrone means overthrow. Now we have become slaves of foreigners. Some kings were not good, but after all, they were of this land. The East India Company was extending its power in the 18th century. The rivalry between the Indian princes and their short-sightedness gave a chance to the English merchants and the company to get successful in their ventures. The rule of the East India Company was looked upon as a blessing by many as it restored some peace and order. The others, however, viewed the dethroning of their Indian kings as a shame and regretted submitting under the outsiders' rule. Tipu Sultan of Mysore laid down his life fighting the British.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें।
3. British Rule 1765 to 1836. Religious leaders preached ideas like untouchability and child marriage. Preached means sermonize. Anyone who crosses the seas loses his religion. all the misery in the world is due to women. The truth was that Indians had lost self-respect. The British scorned them. Scorned means disrespect, contempt. The natives are unworthy of trust, incapable of honesty. Unworthy means undeserving. True, Your Honour, but I am honest. Being merchants, the British wanted quick profits. Their heavy taxes forced farmers to abandon their fields. But your men are taking all my crop. You are still in arrears. Arrears means debts. If you don't pay next week, I will send you to jail. Inevitably, famines followed. Between 1822 and 1836, 15 lakh Indians died of starvation. Inevitably means impossible to avoid. Still, the British invented other methods which gave them more profits. The goods manufactured in England should not have any import duty when brought into India. A good idea. The East India Company's laws began to cripple Indian industries. Cripple means physically disabled. The British policies ruined the expert artisans and their business. India, at this point, was steeped into religious orthodoxies and superstitions. Practices like untouchability, child marriages, and low social status given to women were just a few to mention. The Britishers, on the other side, were far-sighted and industrious. They scorned the Indians for their evil practices as well as for their dishonesty. Their laws crippled the Indian industries and strengthened their rule. The English goods were imported to be sold in the Indian markets without any import duty, while the Indian farmers lived with heavy taxes on their produce. This burden on the Indian farmers led to famine and death of several thousand Indians.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें। ऐसे ही और एजुकेशनल वीडियोस देखने के लिए हमारे चैनल होम रिवाइज को